Parshat Vayetze opens with Jacob on his way from the land of Israel to his mother's hometown in search of a wife and some much-needed space from his brother. He stops along the way for the night, and when he finds the place where he's going to spend the night, the Torah tells us, Vayikach me'avnei hamakom vayasim mirosh hatav. He took from among the stones of the place and put beneath his head. The language of the verse here is unclear as to just which stones it was that Jacob took and placed beneath his head. Some commentators say, it says here stones, he took multiple stones and arranged them around himself in a kind of a rudimentary shelter. Other commentators look ahead to a later verse in which he removes the stone from under his head, and they say, no, he took from among the stones. He took a single stone and put it beneath his head. But there's one midrash that has a very interesting approach to this problem of how many stones. They imagine that Jacob takes 12 stones, one representing each of the tribes that will eventually come from his descendants. And he arranges those 12 stones around him, but immediately the 12 stones start arguing among themselves, each one representing its future tribe, and saying that Jacob's head should rest on me. No, Jacob's head should rest on me. And as these stones continue to jockey for position among one another, a miracle occurs, and they fuse into a single stone, becoming a single community working together. This is a nice midrash in the way that it suggests that the tribes set aside their differences and became one. Unfortunately, as we watch the story continue, not just among Jacob's own children, but continuing in the Exodus story and into the land of Israel, the tribes continue to jockey with one another. The tribes continue to compete and use their differing abilities and different skills, trying to get ahead, trying to get the advantage one over the other. But I don't think the Torah wants us to take the message of eliminating difference and resolving our conflicts by simply stopping to disagree on things. Instead, I think the answer lies much closer to something that Scott Brown and Roger Fisher of the Harvard Negotiation Project wrote in their book, Getting Together. They wrote, "It would be a mistake to define a good relationship as one in which we would agree easily. The working relationship is one that produces a solution that satisfies the competing interests as well as possible in a way that appears legitimate in the eyes of each of the parties." In other words, as we look around ourselves today, we look at our relationships, whether they're family relationships, work relationships, in the Jewish community or in American society, we see all kinds of people with whom we don't agree. We can't share a way forward because we see competing interests, competing goals. But the solution to conflict, as Fisher and Brown suggest, is not to stop disagreeing, but to work through our disagreements and to see the people who hold different opinions not as an adversary on the other side, but as a partner standing side by side as we face the future together and work together to develop a creative solution. It's an approach to relationships that I think the Torah would heartily endorse. It's the message of the Midrash about the 12 stones becoming one, and it's the challenge that Parshat Vayetze puts before us today. Shabbat Shalom.